We are recording.
We are recording. So we are starting, and we're so happy to have you here with us. This, of course, is Live with Marcy and Amy, the Heart-Centered Woman. And today we're going to be talking about creating your safe space in a world of uncertainty, how to stress-proof and filter the energies that would otherwise take you down. And boy, oh boy, do we have a lot to share with you. So with that, Amy, just one thing, everybody, just to remind you that if your camera is on, you will be part of the recording. So if that's not what your choice is, please turn it off. And with that, Amy, do you want to start us off and tell us a little bit about you and how your heart-centered life is unfolding?
So welcome everybody from Canada, from Florida. I'm Amy Shade. I am a certified life coach. I'm also the creator of the Radical Embodiment Method, which combines coaching and meditation and embodiment exercises, and to help you really pursue the life that you desire and to let go of the things that you don't, and to tap into our values and these higher energies that are now, we're going to speak about this today, that are being really required of you.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to keep it short and sweet because I know we have a lot of questions to get through. And so Marcy, why don't you introduce yourself and say hello to everybody?
All right. So I'm Marcy Newman. I'm known as the Heart Shift Coach. And heart shifting is a process that I've created that's really the culmination of all of my work helping people to heal their hearts for now over 50 years. I've stepped over that threshold and am now starting that second 50 of being in service and really just being present in a whole completely different way in my own life, which is heart-centered and helping others to reach that level in their lives as well. What I always say is when you start to follow your heart, you will realize one thing. It is not for the faint of heart because it is challenging in every single way. And so the work that I do is the work of, number one, heart shifting, which is actually the recalibration of the energy that you are radiating from your heart, but also how to shift the frequencies of energy that help you to create the life that you came here to live. You came here with an incredible birthright, and that is of a creator. And unfortunately, through all the programming and conditioning that we've received since we were tiny little things, as well as in other lifetimes, we have been taught the opposite, that we are subjected to life. And so what Amy and I are doing is we are, again, providing the structure and the foundation for creating lives that are heart-centered so that you can step into your creative ability and really start to represent yourself in a way you never have before. And I know that sounds, crazy, but it's true. So with that, I'd like to start us off with sharing a quote with you. And this quote is, and again, I just want to remind you what our theme is today because it's so important. Create your safe space in a world of uncertainty. How to stress-proof and filter the energies that would otherwise take you down. So here's what Byron Katie has to say. She says, stress is an alarm clock that lets you know you're attached to something not true for you. So with that, Amy, I'd actually like to start off asking you a question, if that's okay with you. Okay. So, Amy, why is it important to learn how to protect yourself in times of stress and overwhelm? And what role do passions play?
Yes, so thank you. And if we are talking about Byron Katie, what a person to really challenge challenge your own beliefs and thoughts around the reality we are living in.
That's right.
She will really take you to the next level. And sorry. So where are we? Why is protection so important? First and foremost, protection is really important for women because if we don't feel safe, it's very difficult for us to operate in this world. And oftentimes we've looked to other people to have this idea of feeling safe, and or things like jobs or people or family to make us feel safe, to protect us. And now it's the time to shift. The shift is we create our own protection of self. We create our own safe space of self. We are responsible for creating a feeling of safety in a tumultuous world right now, or a tumultuous relationship. It's up to us to really create our own space of safety and protection of self. This is important because people will bleed us dry. Okay. People will bleed us dry. What's happening out in the world will take all of our energies and bleed us dry and just make us want to quit. And so this idea of protecting ourselves, protecting what's coming in to our mind, what's coming in to our body, what's coming in, is so important for us to now put up boundaries and be like, I'm not going to do I'm not going to enter into that conversation with someone who takes me out. I am not going to enter into, the doom scroll. I was on a podcast interview. He's like the doom scroll on the phone. And this, as we are into coming back to self and coming back to our own ability to create the protection and safety we desire, following your passions and getting back to your passions is so important, because we as creators, as Marcy was saying earlier, and what our theme is ultimately, is that we are the creators of our life. When we get back to our passions, they pull us in to ourselves. They pull us into our creativity. They pull us into coming back home where we were supposed to be this whole time on earth, back to self. And so when we get to our passions, there's an automatic inner desire, inner knowing, inner curiosity. There's all these things that are coming out as we go to our passions that really give us a sense of responsibility, a sense of grounding that is really needed in the world today. And so this grounding and knowing and following our passions and what we're excited about, right? Not the things that they might not make us money all the time, or they might not, be conventional, but what they do is they satisfy something in us that brings us back to self and God, Mother God, if you are into that also, that energy of a higher universe, higher energy. So this is why it's important to, number one, protect ourselves. Number two, get back to those passions. Like, what passions have you not been pursuing? Whether it's writing your book, whether it's going to dance class, whether it's taking tennis, photography, what passions have you been putting on the back burner? I would say enter into those passions, take those steps towards those passions, because that's where you meet yourself. You will meet yourself in your passions. So, Marcy, everything going okay over there?
Yes, everything is good over here.
uh, so we're laughing because in times of unease and stress, it's best to laugh. So why I'm going to ask you, why do we often shut down during times of great stress, and how do we know if we're overreacting or if our withdrawal is appropriate?
I'm so happy we're talking about this. One thing I just wanted to mention to anyone who, has come in the last couple of minutes. Amy started us off by saying, this is a time where we really need to double down on this, on managing our stress. This is not a time where you may feel no stress, okay? This is a time, because there's so much tumult and chaos in the world, that those energies, as they come towards you, may bring about anxiety and feelings of being overwhelmed. And so, why do we shut down? Well, this is such an interesting question, because the truth is that it has very much to do with what Amy was talking about. It has to do with actually an animalistic response, reaction. What do animals do when they are threatened? They play dead. They roll up in a ball. There's, another animal or human that comes by and bats them or whatever, and they remain just as if they were dead. And so part of this we need to know is actually instinctual. So when we are in times of stress, it's actually important to draw our energy in. And I look at it as actually being in alignment with what our true nature is and what is already designed within us to bring us a sense of comfort. It's comforting when we draw our energy in. Now, here's the caveat. We're not meant to stay there, but we are meant to react and respond accordingly. And I'm going to use myself as an example. As Amy knows, I had a week of this. So this past Sunday would have been my youngest son's 35th birthday. And as some of you may know, I lost him 14 years ago in a car accident. And this year, as opposed to many other years, this anniversary of his birthday really got to me. And I was feeling it very deeply. Now, Amy was laughing a few minutes ago as she asked me, is everything okay over there? Because on top of all of this, my computer kept freezing. I couldn't get anything done. And I'm sharing this with you because on Tuesday, it reached such a point where I was feeling that overwhelming stress, closed my computer, took my clothes off, and I got in bed. And in bed, I cried, and I wrote, and I cried, and I wrote, and I cried, and I wrote. And it was only because I have allowed myself to feel and to learn how to respond appropriately. Now, I wasn't always here. In years past, particularly while I was married, I would just sweep that under the rug. I would pretend that I wasn't feeling. And as a result, not only did I shut down, my body shut down. And this is why we're talking about this. We must allow ourselves to feel and to respond appropriately. Now, the difference also is between reacting and responding. Reacting, I'm going to tell you right now, I wanted to throw my computer across the room. I was so frustrated. Oh my God, I was so frustrated. But underneath it, I knew there was something greater that was trying to come to the surface. And I have this quote that I'm going to share with all of you, and I'll put it in the chat. I believe that we create what we need to create in order to create what we need. And so I do believe, because I don't believe in any coincidences, I believe that I was shutting the computer down and that I was mandating that I address what needed to come to the surface. And so this is how we know whether we are overreacting or if that withdrawal is appropriate. Our heart is going to tell us. And this is, again, why Amy and I are so committed to this. There is such a difference in living your life from a heart-centered awareness as opposed to being in the world unaware of what is happening within you. So thank you for that one, Aim. And with that, I'd like to ask you another question. What is the moment of time trying to teach us? And how can we begin to take in the teachings and let go of the stress and overwhelm?
Thank you for that. Yeah, what is this time trying to actually teach us, right? And what I am finding it is trying to teach us is to come back to our own personal responsibility. That's right. To come back to our power, to come back to realize just how powerful we actually are. It is our time to learn. It is our time to grow. It is our time to discern, to make choices, and to really walk in our life, our own life, fully embodied in who we are, and to let go of this idea that we're not capable, to let go of the idea that we're not good enough, life is too hard, this is too hard, he won't let me, she won't let me. This time is teaching us to rise within, right? And when I said on the last question about our passions are the fuel to the fire to have us rise. Our passions are that fuel, right? They are, when I feel overwhelmed, when I feel like I'm going down a spiral, I go to dance class. When I walk out of that dance class, my energy has shifted. I'm a different person. I'm back in my body. I'm back in my fire. You guys, when no one is disputing that we're being challenged at this time. And as excuse me, Marcy said, if you're not feeling stressed or whatever, if you're there's something maybe you need to look at, because we are all being challenged. We're all being challenged. And it's our time to rise. It's our time to really get back and understand that this is a teaching moment. So yes, how can we begin to take the teachings and let go of the stress and overwhelm? Let's start, first and foremost, creating a vision around what that looks like for you, right? It looks different for everybody. So when I say it's time to come back to you and your responsibility, it means it's your time to figure out your vision around how you're going to give self-love, self-care, and protect yourself. Not everyone is a dancer. So obviously it's well, I'm not interested in dance, so I can't take dance class. But what can you do in your own life to get back to you so that you can let the stress and overwhelm move through you and get out of your way so that you can pursue your life in the way that you want to pursue your life, right? again, we are in this time to get back to self, to understanding our personal responsibility on this earth and what we want to create as creators, and how do we want to show up in this world, right? For me, when I in the world, when I'm in my house, when I'm wherever I'm at, I am consciously aware that my energy matters. I'm consciously aware that the way I speak, the way I hold my body, the way I walk into a room matters. It matters because at this point, being creators, we can shift the energy of any room. And so, yeah, I think awareness is key, just how powerful you are. And I'm going to keep saying this because, we haven't been told just how powerful we are when we are very powerful. We can shift a whole room into love, into empathy, into excitement. We can inspire. We have all of these abilities to inspire ourselves, to question ourselves, to create a vision for ourselves. So if you're having a bad day and you need to, if you're having a rough day and as you need to, go back to bed and watch Netflix, do it. And when you do it, feel proud about it. This is what I need to do today. Feel good about it. Not like, oh my God, I wasted my time. It was not, I totally just gave up. All of these. No, I'm glad that I feel proud that I was aware of what I needed and I took care of myself. And just because it doesn't look like what we're supposed to do, which is do, give, do, solve. All of that is just bull crap. What we need to do is breathe into self, get into bed, and chill. Okay? I'm giving everyone permission to just chill. So I'm on your side. All right. So, Marcy, I want to ask you, when these feelings of overwhelm start to pile up, what's the first thing to do that will help to alleviate the fear and suffering?
So it's interesting, but I mean, you really started the conversation by saying, what is your vision? And that's something that Amy and I are always asking our audiences wherever we are. What is your vision? Because you're not meant to be living a cookie cutter life. You are meant to know that you matter so much that you are putting focus on what I call the journey of intimacy. Into me, see. You must go into your daily life creating this awareness about the little things, the things that make you lean forward, the things that make your foot tap where you want to sing, or pick up a pencil and you start doodling, or you suddenly get an idea about something that you want to pursue, or you witness something as sweet as a little puppy, or anything at all. In other words, we're meant to have that level of awareness because every single bit of it is information that's being sent to us from our higher self that is meant to help to bring us into a sense of being safe and connected. Excuse me. In addition, it helps us to bring about this feeling of being balanced, right? When we start to put focus on those things, what happens is we will draw more of them automatically into our lives. That's the law of attraction in a nutshell. So, as Amy said earlier, also, we are responsible for everything that we are experiencing. Now, it's not to say that we caused what's happening, right? But our ability to experience something from a level of awareness that then sort of segues into our being able to respond appropriately is how we're meant to live. All right. So we need to develop the awareness. The other thing is as you've heard both Amy and I say, is you need to give yourself permission to do what your inner self, your heart, is guiding you towards. So I just shared with you Tuesday, I had a major cry day. And what I want you to know is that I typically will schedule myself a cry day. And this happens whenever I start to feel the emotions like coming to the surface very quickly, or I feel overwhelmed, or nothing is working. When nothing is working, it tells me I'm in my own way. It tells me that my energy is jumbled. I am not aligned with what it is that I want to create. And so it gets chaotic and it creates chaos. That's the only thing that it can do then. So when I schedule cry days, I will again get into my bed and I will do whatever I need to do in order to bring the tears forward. We're so programmed to not cry. Don't be a crybaby. Oh, you're so emotional. Oh, you're this or you're that. Our tears are there, from my perspective, actually as like a metabolic catalyst. They're there to help us to break down the energy of the emotion and to bring it back into its natural form, which is love. And we're then able to create what we want to experience with it. So I will look at old photos, watch a movie, like Amy said, or I'll write, or I'll just meditate, or just lie there and see what comes in and out of my consciousness, because there's so much information there. But again, we have to give ourselves permission to step outside of the busy world of always doing and answering to other people. We're not here to answer to other people. We are here to answer to our own heart, our communication with our higher self, because then we get to experience that birthright that I spoke about earlier in our program. And that is the truest, most powerful expression of ourselves. So when we have these feelings of overwhelm and it starts to be so apparent, the first thing to do, from my perspective, put your hands on your heart. Just put your hands on your heart. There's something so powerful with just that connection. You're acknowledging that there's something that needs your attention. That's it. First step, hands on your heart. You see what just happened? I was able to take a deep breath. I didn't even know I needed to take a breath, but my heart did. And all the information that you need will start to come forward right from there. So remember, the quote that we started the show off with is stress is an alarm clock. Lets you know when you're attached to something that's not true for you. And I think that this is why we start to beat ourselves up when, all we want to do is get back into bed. Because all of a sudden, we the ego jumps in and starts to tell us that's the wrong thing to do. We should be out doing, but that's not true. It is a time for us to come inside And it's only there that we'll come back into that place of connecting where it's really important to connect. So, with that, Amy, I'd like to ask you, um, let's see, what are the energies that we need to tap into at this time? And how does that support us in our desire to be a heart-centered woman?
There you go. Yeah, thank you for that, Marcy. I also want to kind of tap into this understanding of the higher self wanting this thing for us. May it be rest, and then the mind coming in and telling us that that's not true. So part of this experience of life is to know there's a distinction between the higher self and your mind, and that the mind is, to me, a tool, right? It's something that could have a negative thought come in, but it's my job as the master of my own life to put in a different thought, to shift that, and to understand that the mind is something technical. I always say, like, as artists, there's always the technical aspect of our art, and then there's the creative aspect of our art. For me, the mind is the technical aspect of my life, and my heart and my soul is the creative part of my life. So that really helped me to make that distinction between the mind and the higher self, because the higher self always wants, for me, is connected to Mother God, energy, universe. And that's the thing that is like really inspiring me. It's up. It's like this energy of laughter, this energy of joy, this energy of creation. It's the mind that comes in with these thoughts of, it's not the right time. Or just that little thought, boop, you're too shy, you're not capable, right? To me, that's like that's technical. That's something I could change. That's like, for me, something operational. This is how I've come to think of my mind, that it's something that's technical that can be trained. My higher self is already there. It's already, it's already in its state as it's always been. The only thing that's keeping me from that, living in that higher self energy, is this technical thing that I can manipulate. And we're powerful like that. We can manipulate with our mind. When I teach dance, right? My mind is telling me there's purple bubbles inside of me. My mind is creating this world of energy and purple bubbles and loosening up and allowing for space. My mind is doing that. I am telling it to do that. It's using the imagination to create a state of being. That state of being allows me to really hook up to high energies. And this is what I'm saying to you guys. You guys are so powerful when you understand your mind and how it works. When you understand that these emotions that are coming at you, or this feeling of stress, this feeling of overwhelm, can be shifted with understanding that you have the power to do it. When I wake up in the morning, this is an embodiment practice. I open my eyes, I do a body check. In that moment, sometimes I feel ready to go, happy, hopeful. Sometimes I feel anxiety. Sometimes I feel fear. In that moment, it's my job to switch those thoughts, to switch my energy, to switch that feeling of anxiety into, I'm ready to start my day. I'm capable. I'm powerful. I'm showing up today as, my best self. And so when we are in these spaces, right? And the best time to do this is when you feel you're having a good day, right? This is the best time to start tapping in, right? Because tapping into joy, tapping into gratitude, tapping into openness, tapping into curiosity on a regular basis as a practice is so beneficial for you and in your life. This is for me, it was one of the things that changed my life because I was taken down by anxiety, PTSD, fear after my fiance passed away. I know what it feels like to be in that state and unable to get out of it. Right? And if you're there, that's okay too. Right? So we don't want to like Marcy and I never want to make anyone feel like they're not where they're supposed to be, because you are where you're supposed to be right now. Everything's a learning experience. But I do know how it feels like you can't get out of it. You can't get out of that state, which in my experience, I'm just going to talk about me, that was for me normal, and I don't judge myself for that. But through time, through building and rebuilding my life, I understand how important it is to tap into the energies, that the higher energies, so that it is embodied in me. And when I'm embodied in that, the energy shifts themselves, and stress and overwhelm are more difficult in my life to affect me. I'm not saying I don't get affected by it, because I think we all get affected by stress and overwhelm, but it doesn't happen as often as it used to happen. And so where am I at here? Yeah. So how does this? Yeah. So if you want to be a heart-centered woman, if you want to live a heart-centered life, tap into the higher energies. Make those the go-to things you go to in the morning. Really get into joy. Go swing on a swing. Go laugh. Go have lunch with your friends. Find joy in life, and then therefore you will create more in your life. So Marcy, we're about 20 minutes till. Do you want to talk about our workshop in the VIP, or do you want to?
Yeah, I do. As a matter of fact,
is that what am I picking up on? It's like we're wearing the same glasses today.
It's we always picking up on each other's vibes. Yeah, I want to bring it to everybody's attention, because we really put together this incredible package for this month. And I'm going to read you what comes in this package for $47. First off, you're going to get my online digital course that is Spiritual Accountability for Heart-Centered Women. And it is a step-by-step course on how to become spiritually accountable, so that you're not beating yourself up and taking yourself into a downward spiral, and instead being able to embrace what's come forward, and what, of course, has come forward from within you. So that's a $247 value, by the way. When you go to my website, selfloveuniversity.com, you will find it for $247. Next, you're going to get the Radiant Reflection Meditations for Heart-Centered Women. That's from Amy, $108 value. Then you're going to get a Vulnerability Advantage online course, $197 value. And you'll get the replay of Find Your Purpose, Passion, and Prosperity show, a $57 value. So it's all valued at $609, and it's yours for just $47. However, on April 1st, You also will get
Receive.
an exclusive ticket to come with Amy and I live on a workshop where we are going to be leading you through methods of recalibrating your nervous system, other methods for de-stressing, and something special that I actually have just been cooking up in my mind as we were thinking that Amy doesn't even know about. And it's all to support you in really being able to double down into this time and for the days ahead, where we all need to adjust to the energies around us so that we can maintain our connection to our higher self. It is so easy to get, drawn down into the dense energies and to feel like victims and to feel like we are powerless. We cannot allow that to happen now. So I'm hoping that each and every one of you and everyone who is listening to this program on the replay, please take advantage of what Amy and I have put together for you here. And please come to the live workshop. We are there. We take all your questions. You get coaching. We help you to work through whatever is causing resistance or blocks to your being able to create this awareness and get real results in your life. So please join us.
Yeah, I want to jump in my radiant meditations. Every meditation has a chakra clearing and embody and energy clearing. So this is where, we really need to clear our energy to make room for our highest selves and our higher energies to come into our life.
Yeah.
So who's on who?
Awesome, by the way.
Yeah.
I think you want to ask me. Maybe we'll go to our last questions because we have, yeah.
Okay. So how can we shift our? Do you go first or do I go first?
You're asking me.
Okay. Why do we get so confused and have brain?
Go to the last one.
Oh, is it possible to be thriving when you're trying to survive? What is the key to staying resilient? I was looking for the brain fog.
Exactly. So the reason I wanted Amy to ask me this question is because I want to make certain that we talk about this because it's sort of a paradox. The truth of the matter is, yes, you can still thrive while you are trying to survive. And I'm going to tell you the truth. Like if I were to look at these two energies separately, and whoops, as I tune into the frequencies of them, they feel very different. And so I would normally say, no, it's not possible. However, what I've been shown is that not only is it possible, but what you're actually doing by focusing on your ability to continue to thrive, you are shifting, you are heart shifting the energy that helps to dissipate the energy of survival. Now, all of us, as I just said, we're going through this time period now where it's so easy to fall into this belief that we are, disempowered. And it's not true. It is when we look at it as an invitation to come back into our power, then we really start to remember who we are. So I want you to just think for a moment about, some examples of this. So let's say, for instance, let's look at anybody who lives in poverty, right? What sort of popped into my mind is, some native tribe, for instance, right? That we would say, oh, they're living, in a poverty situation. And when you start to dive into the heart of that tribe, you start to recognize how rich they are, how, full they are of the spirit, how they have this cohesiveness within their tribe that is nurturing, that is helping them to remember who they are. Why? Because each and every one of them knows that they matter. They have a significant role in their society. And that's from the smallest child to the elder. They all have a significant role. They are thriving, even in the midst of trying to survive, for instance, in a jungle. Essentially, that's what we're doing right now. We're trying to survive in a jungle. So what do? Number one, we come into ourselves and we start to remember who we are. Number two, we join a community of like hearts and like minds. And we, unfortunately, may have to let go of some other relationships. I know that this has happened for myself. And it's a challenge because a lot of relationships, particularly if they've, been part of your life for a long time, it might even be a family member, right? But if it is a relationship that is robbing you of the energy that you need in order to thrive as you're surviving, then it not only is it your responsibility to do so, it's your obligation to do so. And I talk a lot about this in my spiritual accountability course. What is your spiritual obligation? Well, that's one of them. And the reason is it's because you matter. What you are here to bring to the world matters. What you are here to bring to your community, your tribe, it matters. It matters so much that it's absolutely essential. So we have got to come into this awareness that we are the ones that matter to ourselves and to everything around us, so that it is able to thrive as it is surviving. And again, as I said, what happens is that energy of thriving now starts to dissipate. That energy where you feel so threatened, you don't feel as threatened anymore. You don't feel like you have to fight for your survival anymore. So, at least not as much as you did before that. And so we take this opportunity, this incredible learning experience that we are in right now, and with hearts filled with gratitude, we come to this different place of recognition. Oh, that's right. I matter. It is my spiritual responsibility to let go of anything that is not feeding my ability to thrive as I'm working to survive. And so that is the key to being resilient. When we are, working so hard to hold on to something or someone that is not feeding us, guess what? It's literally energetic suicide. But our ability to be resilient is in our ability at any nanosecond to pivot and start to feed only the energies that will take us from surviving into thriving. I mean, that's how powerful we are and how powerful this is. So with that, Amy, I'd like to ask you.
Number 5. I switched to number 5 too.
Okay. What role Do values play during this time of unrest? Love this.
Yeah, so this is a perfect follow-up to you because the people that you were speaking of, their values, what they valued, made their life rich. Okay. What we value in our life makes our life rich or can create struggle. So, this is a perfect time to adopt new values during this time. Because if you're going to be a creator, you must be curious. If you're going to be a creator, you must be open to taking chances. If you're going to be a creator, you must let go of this idea that you actually have control over the outcomes. Okay. So, the values that we embody, the values that moving forward in our life, we must really embrace the more fun, easy, creative, uh, openness, freedom, passion, peace, purpose. These are the values we need to go towards at this time. Because we need to like redefine our whole life. As the world is crumbling, it will be rebuilt. And in the rebuilding, we as the creators have a very important role. Now, when you talked about relationships, right? You were talking about relationships and, staying in relationships. Again, most of the people that I speak with, they stay in the relationships because of concerns for their own safety as far as surviving. It's mostly monetary most of the time. And so we oftentimes give up our responsibility and our ability to be a creator and really find out about ourselves as we acquiesce our power to someone else because they can take care of us. Right. And so the more that you shift into what can I create today that's going to bring me joy, even in the midst of chaos, right? This is how I did it with my marriage back in years ago. I was like, this is not right. I don't feel good. Something is wrong. I hadn't pursued any kind of spirituality, any kind of self-help, none of that. So I seeked. I became a seeker. I became a seeker. Like, what can I find to help me? What can I find? And I found a community, as Marcy says, community is everything. I found a community of women that I went every Monday to the meditation class, every Monday, shifting my values, shifting my belief, finding out about myself, right? And so I do understand the fear of our safety being questioned. So it's up to us to shift the energy and to really just find the joy in creating, find the joy in understanding ourselves, finding the joy of like learning about ourselves versus putting all of our energy outside of ourselves. That is done. That's a done deal. Because if we do that, now we're really going to be taken out because it's not just about the job or the relationship or the children. Now it's something bigger. And so all that compounded will take us out, will shut us down. And even having that understanding, like I said, my mind is just a tool. I understand that to be true. And therefore, I need to make different choices because I feel it in my body. I'm not a heart-centered woman when I let those things influence me. I'm not protecting myself and the importance of my mission to be a creator. And that's really something that I am proud of and something that I really value is, who am I in this moment? Who am I in this moment? So, I don't know. What is this going? So, anyways, I think I got these going everywhere. So yeah. So, Marcy, what do you want to do now? Where are we at?
So, I just sent you a message.
Yeah, I'm just like, I was like, so I think we're at our time. We've got 3 minutes.
Yeah.
We got 3 minutes. We've got people coming in and with the 3 minutes, but I do want to again mention the VIP and also our upcoming workshop, where we do a deep dive. We'll do a deep dive into all this. You get personal attention, and I hope this was helpful. And in fact, can you put your comments in the chat? Uh, maybe some questions we can answer in the workshop, and or some praise and thanks. We love that too. And yes or no? You want to take over that? Oh, good. Oh, thanks,
thank you,
KG.
KJ.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Let's
much.
Here.
She says this was wonderful. My hand is tired from writing. You can't even imagine what that means to us.
Yeah.
We're so grateful, seriously, for all of you who take the time out of your days or evenings and to spend this time with us. Amy and I, as we've told you, we are so committed to being here and helping you to create this foundation, the structure for truly living a heart-centered life. I don't know if you realize this, but this is actually Amy's and my 4th year doing this program. We have started our 4th year together of, just creating these monthly programs. And as you know, every couple of months we have a conference style where we bring other speakers in, other experts, because we know that you need to have a variety of opinions. You need to know that you are so important to us. We are bringing in other people to make sure that you get everything that you need. So please continue to follow us, and also please share with your friends and your family. Actually, share it with your enemies, okay? Because someday they will be your friends too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So share it. I don't know. It's amazing to me. I always get so much out of these shows.
I know.
Like I get off and it's like, oh my God, because when Amy and I come on here, we just sort of give ourselves over to our higher selves and let whatever comes through to be the voice of that truth from within us. And as you can see, we hold nothing back. We're here to share and to be heart-centered women and to be a model for you in case you don't have it in any other place. So we love you so much. We're so grateful for you. And thank you. And thank you to everybody who has put these beautiful comments in. And again, whatever, we can do. And make sure that you send us recommendations, suggestions. We're here for you. We're here for you. So thank you so much, everyone. And so many blessings to you. We love you. Have a heart-centered month. And of course, we do hope to see you in the workshop on April 1st and enjoying all of those gifts that Amy and I have put together for you.
Yeah, you'll get information about the workshop also coming in your inbox. So there will be a replay for 2 days. And then we will also be advertising and giving you the opportunity to join us in the workshop and grab the VIP.
Right. Exactly. All right, everyone. So
Have a
much love to
beautiful
you.
rest of
Have
your
a
day.
great day. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye. Let's see here. Everything kind of switched around here, huh? How do we turn this off?